Hey, good morning. Stuck in traffic with Wolf Gorlick. A couple-minute riff on IT security. So, a long time ago, having survived Y2K, I walked off into the desert, as most IT guys did. And a couple years after, I was doing a skunkworks project to build this application, basically a web portal, right? It was called a WUI, Web User Interface. I think it was just fun to say, WUI. So I was building this system, and my goal was just to make it work, all right? So I had the quintessential dev tools, right? I had a text editor and a web browser, and that was it. And I did most of my debugging with like 500 errors, all right? So if you went to a website, you see HTTP 500, it gives you the error, gives you some context. You're probably familiar with it from like Twitter, which does the fail whale, or GitHub, which does the unicorn. So you generate an error and it gives you some context back. And that is actually my dev method, which is horrible from a security perspective. I would write code, I'd break stuff, I'd look at the 500 error, I'd fix stuff. Why is that horrible from a security perspective? Well, the reason I was able to fix things is it would give me lines of code, it would give me snippets, it would give me stack trace, all sorts of valuable information to me as a developer, all sorts of valuable information to me as an attacker. And it was great. I think it was one of the MD5 crack sites was screenshot and was being retweeted. Check my feed, I retweeted it just a little bit ago, because on that site, the site had failed. It fell over because too many connections, threw a 500 error, and they're using MySQL, and within that 500 error was the username and the password for the MySQL database. Thanks, guys. It just made my pen testing team's life so much easier. What else can you do with 500s? If you are doing SQL injection, if you ever wondered, hey, how do the bad guys know my table names? How do the bad guys know my schema? SQL 500s. You throw an error, you look at what it's doing. Fuzzing, SQL 500s, or HTTP 500s. Throw an error, see what the output is, see what function crashed, and that gives you some insight into what parameters may be passing back and forth and what methods are being called, right? So you can hop around within the code. So that's in the attack side. On the defense side, what can you do with HTTP 500s? Well, one, in production environments, turn them off. Don't let your developers dev by HTTP 500. It's bad. It's a bad idea. It's bad back then. It's bad now. Don't do it. So you can turn them off in the web browser. I'm sorry, in the web server. Right? There's a configuration where you can set like a static page for IIS or for Apache for 500 errors. Better, you can write your code so it doesn't throw 500s. Better code, cleaner code. What else can you do? So you could throw up a WAF, right? Put up a web application firewall that catches those 500s and returns good information out, like a fail whale or unicorn, and keeps track of them. That's actually like my favorite version of this, and here's why. One, it sanitizes the output. Good. Two, it gives us some great metrics for the security team to say, hey, why is there suddenly a whole bunch of 500s? If there's excessive 500s, block that IP address right away. And we actually do see some more mature programs doing that, checking for excessive 500s, shunting off that user, because we know they're trying to map our system. Then three, finally, return HTTP 500, log all those errors and that information, and give that to the developers. Back to my original point of writing clean code so that you get few 500s. It's a good metric to file bug reports and give them some input. So that is HTTP 500, the error code of the day. This has been Stuck in Traffic. Takeaways, check your websites, check your firewalls. Be safe. Bye.